This is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Scott Spears Now. And tonight on the program, we've got another one of our great profiles of the new co-host on our Friday Night Live program, heard on WGH Radio every Friday night from 8:15 to 10 p.m. Now, you know on this program we've had some great guests over the last few weeks: Mary Ellen Withrow, George Casotis, Linda Sims, star of My 600-Pound Life, Mike McGinnis, OSU superfan Buckeye Guy, and now Kerrington. And we're going to learn all about her past, so when you listen every Friday night from 8:15 to 10 p.m., you'll know a little more about where she came from and what her views are because of this program today. Now remember, you can listen to this program, Friday Night Live. It's a hot show here on the station every Friday night from 8:15 to 10 p.m. It also stars Matt Morgan, Sean Kraft, and myself. But Kerrington is the female point of view, which we sorely needed on that program for many, many weeks. And also in the future, the Exchange Club will be coming back to television, and Kerrington and Matt and I believe Abby will be the other panelist on that program, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks as time goes by. Now, before we get to Kerrington, though, I know people are looking now, what is on the desk? Well, today, a girl gave me these baked goods. And now, I had to write this down when she gave them to me, because now these are chocolate chip cookies. Now, clearly you know what a chocolate chip cookie is. These are peanut butter cookies. These are no-bake cookies. Cameraman's not getting any of those. Sorry about your luck. These are actually prize-winning molasses cookies. Prize-winning molasses cookies. And these are called Jubilee Jumbles. They're a cake cookie. Jubilee Jumbles. So I do want to I'm not going to thank her by name because who knows, maybe she doesn't want to be mentioned on the air. But I do thank her for baking those baked goods and sending them over to me. Thank you so much. You gotta love anybody who does baked goods, Kerrington.
Oh, absolutely. I know I do.
Yeah. Did I say your last name? I don't think I did. Kerrington Nelson is the guest today. Now, Kerrington, it's kind of interesting because your appearance on radio was almost what was an accident that started at the fair. Tell people what you remember.
I remember walking through the building where they have all the booths set up, the Coliseum at the fairgrounds, and I glance over and I see some people that I'm like, I think I recognize them. And then I was like, yep, I think I recognize them. I just kept walking. That was it. And then all of a sudden one of them walks up to me and they're like, hey, you work at Kroger Pharmacy, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I do. And they're like, do you want to come be on the radio? Like, we're doing a 15-hour broadcast and you can come talk for a few minutes. And I was like, maybe, not really, like, what are we talking about? And he said, it was Matt, by the way, and he was just like, yeah, we're just talking, just a 15-hour straight thing, so if you want to come chat for a little bit, you can. And then I decided to, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. That's kind of interesting, because I didn't know you were apprehensive that night to come on. I never knew that story. He said he went over, and you were pretty willing, because most people at the fair are not very willing. It's a different climate at the fair, to say the least.
For sure. I mean, my apprehension again was me going, not really, but yeah, I'll do it. So I could see why he thought I was.
But once you sat down, it was great.
Yeah.
You sat down, you tried the deep fried Twinkie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know that was coming.
I did not.
You talked. It was great. And immediately after that program that night, all of us, Sean, who was there, and Matt and I said, we're doing that Friday night show. Matter of fact, we came back that night and did the Friday night show here. And we said, she would be really good in that spot. Do you think she would do it? And Matt said, well, I'll track her down, and we'll see if she would do it. And you came in, I think, the following week, and you were great. And then you were gone for 3 weeks. You were tired of us. You said, I'm tired of those people. I can't spend anymore. I need a 3-week break after this. And then you came back last week, and it's been fun ever since.
Yeah. You need a little breather after the first one. It's intense. Yeah. No, I actually was on vacation.
You were on vacation. And we're so glad to have you back, and so glad you're doing it. And what has been the people who have heard it in your life's reaction?
My parents were kind of excited about it. They were like, yeah, you should do this. This will be fun. I wonder what doors it'll open and stuff. Always thinking about the future. And, my friends said I was born for this. They said, as soon as you told me you were going to do this, I was like, yeah, no, she would do that. She never talked about wanting to do that, but she'd be good at this. And then they listened and they were like, oh my gosh, we want more Kerrington and less of those other guys. That was their words, not mine. So
We want more Kerrington, less of those other guys.
it's what the people said.
Well, maybe we all should stay home on Friday night for a few weeks and just have the Kerrington show on Friday night. No, that's a good sign. That's great. I'm good, and you're having fun.
Yes.
You wouldn't lie.
No, I would never.
Okay. Well, she's got the spot every Friday night, 8:15 to 10. Now, coming to this spot is interesting. Where were you born? How old are you? A lot of people have asked that.
I am 22. I just turned 22 in June, and I was born in Marion, Ohio.
So you're 3 years older than Matt.
Am I?
Yes, Matt's 19.
Wow, I thought Matt was older than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think a lot of people thought that, or thought that you were the same age, but you're actually 3 years older than him.
Yeah, I've told people we're the same age. I was
No,
like,
no.
I had no idea.
No, and that's kind of interesting because the idea of that show is to have different age groups and different sexes. And the fact that you and Matt actually do have a little age in between you is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a 22-year-old thinks differently than a 19-year-old?
If they're a man, absolutely.
Well, this gets into a very interesting point. What do you think are the big differences between men and women? Because we've certainly noticed it on the Friday night show.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So there's like correct answers right now? You got things brewing.
Well, I mean, there are just certain subjects that women feel differently about than men.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say most of the like dating topics have been a different opinion. Taylor Swift is a different opinion.
Well, I'm all for Taylor Swift. I think she's smart. I just think I don't understand why people are crying at the concerts. I don't understand that.
And you're not a 22-year-old girl, so.
Right, but no, I mean, if I were, would I be crying?
I teared up a little bit at one point.
Okay.
So
Well, there's nothing wrong with super fandom. I think that's okay. But yeah, it seems to be, and on Friday night, by the way, the premise of the show, if you haven't watched it, we try to stay away from current events. We try to do things like dating and relationships and life and death and that sort of thing, because those are the things people are really talking about on the whole. So that's what we kind of do on Friday night. But on the exchange, we will get into more politics. And by the way, with the political season coming up, the election, and just news in general, there are so many news stories. And we might do a couple of news stories here at the end just as a trial run to see how Kerrington does with that, because I don't believe we've ever done a current event. More Kerrington, less everybody else. I like that. That's a good title.
that's our slogan.
That's our new slogan. The Friday night show, more Kerrington, less everybody else. Oh, now when we met at the fair, you were there because of a peach pie.
Yes. I auctioned off a peach pie at the fair, actually. I sold it for $200. So
$200?
Yes. One of my best friend's dads bought it, so I gave him a big hug and said thank you, because I don't think he wanted to buy it. I think he was trying to bid me up, and then he ended up with a peach pie, so.
Now, how much of the $200 do you get from the peach pie?
They take 25%, so I got $150.
Now, how much work went into this $200 peach pie?
I would say 6 hours of work, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you do?
That was my first pie making experience, so I honestly didn't know what to expect. I went to my neighbor's house, because they have 2 girls that are my age, and we all made pies together. One made, I don't even know, like apple, and then the other one made like a pecan pie. So we're all making our different things, and they've already pulled out recipes for me. All I had to do was show up with the peaches, and they were like, we'll help you with the rest. We've got recipes. So we cooked the pies, and you had to slice the peaches, and there's stuff you've got to put on them. Yeah. It was a lot.
Well, it's interesting because a $200 pie, I would think, would have to be very good. Did you hear back how good this pie was?
I did. I told you my friend's dad bought it, so I actually got the first slice whenever I sold it.
Oh, really? So you had a bite of it?
I did have a bite of it.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how good was this peach pie?
I don't love peach pies, but I would give it like a 6.5.
Now, it is interesting because that was like 5 weeks ago now. Mm-hmm. And yet no baked goods have shown up. And yet baked goods have shown up from other people. And you know...
I see what you're saying, but
I
haven't heard anything about $200 for baked goods.
Well, I don't think these were $200. I think these were like an obligatory gift.
Yeah, well, my cooking is just expensive.
Really? I mean, you got a pricey to your baked goods. Well, it is interesting that a lot of people really don't know how to cook these days. Why do you think that is?
I mean, obviously in schools, like, they don't really teach it, which I'm not saying that that's where everybody learned when they were younger, because I don't know. But people just aren't interested in it. I mean, maybe their parents don't cook that much because they're busy doing other things. Like, if you don't have examples to watch, then why would you know how?
Well, that's Probably true, but I notice around Thanksgiving, when there are Thanksgiving dinners at like churches and things now, a lot of the older women have stopped cooking and they've passed it off to the younger girls, and it's just not the same.
Something about that grandma's love in the cooking, I guess.
I think it was butter.
Butter? Yeah.
Butter. It was a lot of Crisco, in those potatoes and pie. So you're born in Marion. Yeah. What school did you go to?
Pleasant.
Oh, Pleasant.
Yes.
Now, Pleasant has always kind of had a reputation that goes along with it. Now, are the people of Pleasant aware of this reputation?
Is it like the snooty thing? Yeah. I knew this reputation existed, and being there, I didn't really see it. I think, like, obviously, there's natural, groups of people that get along better than others, but I never got a super unwelcome vibe. I mean, I did go there my whole life, so I've never been on the outskirts of a new environment, but I would imagine at any school would be a little intense to be on the outskirts.
Why do you think they have the snooty image? I was always curious about that. I never noticed that with anybody from Pleasant, but it was curious to me because they didn't have the newest school, they didn't have the biggest population, they weren't in the richest area, so I never really understood why they had that reputation.
I think the same thing. I was like, I feel like this is a pretty average mix of people like it. Nothing stood out to me, but I did never go to another school, so I wouldn't know. So
you were at Pleasant. What did you do? Sports? Extracurricular activities?
Yeah, I played soccer and I ran track as my sports I did. I did the musical at Pleasant once, and they had a play I did one time, but not super involved in the music scene.
Now, as far as the sports went, which did you excel at?
Track. I was much better at track.
Now, how did that go? What did you compete in?
I did the 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, high jump, and then the 4x4.
Now, did you break any records or have any big moments?
Yeah, I did.
You broke records.
I have the 100 hurdle record at my high school
Really?
still. Yeah.
Now, what is the 100 hurdle record?
Time-wise, you mean?
Yeah.
15 something, I think. 15 seconds.
15 seconds?
Yeah. 100 meters with hurdles.
Oh, 100 meters with hurdles.
Yes.
Not 100 hurdles.
Not 100 hurdles. Sorry for the confusion.
That's a little confusing because somebody who is not involved with the hurdles, when you hear the 100 hurdle, you think there are 100 hurdles.
Yeah, I think I just cut it down. It's typically like 100 meter hurdles, 300 meter hurdles. The track lingo just took over, and I.
Now, how did you get in shape to do that? How do you get ready for the big 100 meter hurdle show?
Like any running race, you gotta run to prepare. So a lot of going to practices and stuff. We had everyday practice after school, and then there are like hurdle drills that you do specifically for hurdling and stuff. You try to get your leg over and like as quick as possible, and there's a lead leg and a trail leg, and there's a lot that goes into it.
Now, are you a competitor?
It depends. In track, I would say I was a competitor. In mini golf, I'm a competitor until I'm doing bad, and then I pretend that I never wanted to do good in the first place, and this is stupid, and I don't want to be here. So typically, if I'm doing well, I'm a competitor. If I'm losing, I don't care.
So, are you a sore loser?
No, I'm not going to pout about it.
No.
Just that's my tactic I take typically. I've noticed in myself, so I'm just self-aware.
Now, your hobbies, obviously we've talked about Taylor Swift. You attended a Taylor Swift concert. You went to some country music shows.
Yes.
Why country music? What's the appeal of country music?
The friend that I went with, we listened to country music a lot in the summer. We haven't so much this summer actually, but like in summers past, it was kind of a nostalgia thing where like she grew up listening to it and I knew a lot of the songs, and then that's just something we've kind of bonded over, so.
Well, it's interesting because this area, country music is very hot. If shows come to the Palace, most other shows don't sell out, but if it's a country music show, it sells out.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I don't know what the appeal is of country music right now, but it's kind of interesting that somebody your age, 22, would be highly interested in country music because I think older people are as well.
Well, I feel like there's different genres. Like I went to a Thomas Rhett concert, and there's the Morgan Wallen was just in Columbus, and I saw a lot of people my age at that concert. So.
Somebody brought this up to me this past weekend. I was doing something, a program, I think, and they said, I went to Morgan Wallen. Everybody's talking about it, apparently. I'm the only one who didn't know what was going on. And I said, who in the world's that? And they said, it's a country singer. And I said, well, what's she sing? I know. Yeah, I got the same thing. And apparently this is the biggest singer that there's ever been on the face of the earth. And it's a man. And apparently I know nothing. And apparently I'm just completely out of touch.
As someone who's in media, I'm really surprised you wouldn't have heard about this. Well, it's a big thing.
The Morgan Wallen fan club has not done a good job of publicizing this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Taylor Swift. I know Clint Black. I know these people who were at the fair. Mm-hmm. I don't know Morgan Wallen.
That's surprising. I don't think I personally know a lot of his songs, but I heard about the event. I saw tens of hundreds of posts on my social medias, I swear. Like, everybody went. I didn't.
No, it was like a 2-night event. Yeah,
I think it was Morgan Wallen and then some other country person. Sorry to that other country guy.
No, but it drew, apparently.
Yeah.
It drew. So what? Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
That's how it works. Now, when we've talked about music, and we've talked about sports, and we've talked about we haven't talked about hobbies. What are your hobbies?
This is funny. I feel like my main hobby is just spending time with my friends, whatever that entails. I like board games quite a bit, so we play games a lot. And shopping is a big hobby. I like to get Starbucks.
Oh.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? You know, Starbucks is fascinating to me because, and I mean this in the best possible sense, I think it's a cult.
Okay.
I think there's a cult going on over there at the Starbucks.
Okay.
Because they speak their own language at Starbucks.
I knew this is where you were headed.
No, it's true, they do, don't they? No, come on.
Oh my gosh.
They call their employees baristas. They're coffee pourers.
I think barista is a name they use for other coffee places.
Okay, but then you can't order a large there. It's got to be a grande.
It's a venti.
A venti. See, there you go. I can't even do it. And what's the small?
A tall.
A tall.
A tall is a small.
And then you got the black tea, and it's a whole thing. I mean, honest to goodness, you have to go there like 17, 18 times to even order a drink.
I always recommend ordering on the app. It's a lot less overwhelming. You don't have to go through that song and dance of being like, you know, small, tall, like, I don't know, give me this size. So that's my recommendation.
Why are they like that, do you think? Is that a kid thing? Are they appealing to a certain group of people here?
I don't think so.
K-pops.
I feel like it's like a club, you know, like it's a community. Like, I don't think I go to Starbucks because I think Starbucks has the best coffee in the world. I'm just going to say it. I think I go to Starbucks for the experience. I want to talk to somebody about coffee. They're always so polite there. Like, I know they're gonna compliment me. They're gonna make small talk.
They're gonna compliment you.
I mean, not always.
What are they gonna say?
I don't know. Maybe they'll.
What do they say there at Starbucks? Maybe I'll start going in there if they're complimenting people. What do they say to you?
I don't know. They'll just be like, "Oh, like your hair is cute. I like your shirt." Like basic.
A barista says this to you?
Yeah, I'm going through the drive-thru, picking up my mobile order, and maybe they'll like hand it to me and say something nice. Oh, I used to get my nails done a lot. They compliment my nails.
How do they see your nails through the drive-thru? Like
I'm reaching to get my drink.
See, I would have no idea about this whole thing. I mean, that's very interesting. Now, are these male or female baristas?
Either.
So they're just all about... Like, don't you find it strange that a male would be complimenting your fingernails?
No, not really.
Really?
Why is that weird?
I just think that's a little different. An employee at a barista, you know, at a Starbucks, I think, oh, you have nice fingernails. Mm-hmm. Like, if I did that, people are going, ooh.
Well, they're like painted and done up, you know, like they like how they look. It's like, it'd be like complimenting my shirt, you know, it's just like, oh, those look good.
So other restaurants don't do this?
Not as reliably as Starbucks, no.
Like Dunkin' Donuts isn't going to do that for you?
Never.
No. Well, but
they're going to say, we don't even have donuts this week.
We're out of that one. That's what they'll say. But you know, it's interesting because I feel that people go to Starbucks to get the cup, and then they can walk around with the cup, and here I am, and I drink Starbucks, and la-di-da. And I think that's really what's going on there. I think it's a social class thing.
Yeah, different people have their different motives. I was just sharing the reason I like to go to Starbucks.
Oh, no, I'm not doubting yours.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, do you feel that there's a certain group of people who are going there to be Starbucks drinkers? I can show up with my Starbucks coffee, with my Starbucks cup, and boy, oh boy, won't I be great.
Yeah, no, I think that there are people like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that seems to be a younger person thing more than an older person thing.
Really? I was picturing a middle-aged woman.
Well, could be.
My mom specifically would totally do that, I think. She doesn't like coffee, but she loves to get a chai tea latte. That's her thing right now.
So what is your drink when you go there?
I switch it up sometimes. I like their matcha, and today I have a refresher. I get the strawberry refresher with lemonade.
See, I don't even know what that is. What is a matcha?
Matcha, it's like green tea.
Why is it matcha?
I don't know. I don't work there. I'm not a barista.
That's just that you have to learn these things.
Yeah, it's over time. Like, I go to other coffee shops too, where it's a little more, you can chit chat with the workers. There's more time. Like,
so a refresher is like a cool drink?
yeah, it's almost like just like a lemonade, basically. It's pink and there is lemonade in it, so it's just like a flavored lemonade.
Is that the receipt stuck to the cup?
No.
What is that?
This is they label it. They put this on it like on the cups.
So we need to know everything about that.
It's whenever it's coming out, whenever they print it out, they put on the little label so they know what to make.
Well, that's fascinating.
Right, yeah, it's great. It's great. My friend's name is there. She got it for me, and then there's my drink so they know what to put in the cup.
Those people know their stuff over there at Starbucks. They have their own little language, but it's very interesting, I think. What did you like school? Did you like high school? Were you popular?
Yeah, I liked high school in a sense of like I liked the community and I liked my friends. I didn't hate learning or anything, so that part was okay. I was definitely popular among my friends. Like we talked about on the Friday night show, I have a friend group from high school still. So there's 9 of us or so that are still pretty good friends and hang out regularly whenever we're all home.
Now, you spoke about your mother there. Do you have a strong family unit?
Yeah, I mean, my parents are together. I have my younger brothers. One is 18 and the other one is going to be 12 in a couple weeks. So probably not as close with him, but love them all. They're both great.
Now, are you a good sister?
I think I'm a good sister. I just try to stay out of their way for the most part.
Was it hard being the girl in the house?
Yes and no. Like, I'm the oldest, so, like, I've been here the longest. I've got the most, like...
Seniority?
Yeah, seniority in that sense, but I don't have somebody to, like, share clothes with. My one friend has 2 younger sisters, and I swear she's got a rotating closet. I'm like, I've never seen this. Where'd you get that? It's always, oh, this is my sister's. I don't get that luxury, so...
Now, you were born in 2001.
Yes. Did you just do that math?
I did. Wasn't that fascinating?
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I'll be working at Starbucks before you know it. I'll be a barista.
You will.
I'll be sticking labels on cups. It'll be great. But no, I was thinking, somebody who was not born, you were born in the 21st century. You were not born in the 20th century. You have not lived in a world where there was not internet. You have not lived in a world where there was not cell phones. Mm-hmm. So that's a completely different experience. A big gap between somebody who has lived in a world where there weren't those things. What do you think those things have done for your generation?
I feel like it's terrible with the question you asked me about hobbies. I constantly think about this, how I feel like I don't have many hobbies because my go-to thing is, I'm going to sit on my phone, I'll scroll through social media, or I'll play on some app. Like, I think that's like the biggest difference, just like the amount of time, your brain isn't thinking about other things because you can distract yourself with this little thing in your pocket. So I imagine that it's a lot different than it would have been before phones.
Do you wish you could have lived in a time where there weren't phones?
Yeah, I think it would have been interesting just to see.
A lot of free time.
Yeah, a lot of free time. I think I'd be a different person.
There was a lot of free time.
I would have had a lot more hobbies to talk about.
Oh, people have hobbies in those days. Now, did you want to go to college when you were in high school?
I feel like it was always just something I was going to do. Like, I never really was like, I can't wait for it. I actually kind of didn't want to go a little bit, but I was like, this is just what the next step is, kind of.
So when you went to college, what was the plan? What did you want to be?
I didn't know. I had no idea. And I graduated college, and I was like, I still don't know what I want to do.
But you majored in...
I majored in communication and psychology, so I double majored.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So do you ever psychoanalyze people when you're talking to them?
People bring that up a lot, and I don't think so. I don't think I learned enough for psychoanalyzing people.
That's interesting.
I know. I hate to say that.
No, but now the fascinating thing about this, first time we met at the fair, you brought this up. You don't actually want to be a psychologist or a communicator. You want to be...
I want to be a flight attendant.
Flight attendant?
Yes.
Why?
So I think that growing up, my parents are both teachers, so I constantly heard about how you don't want to be a teacher, basically. So I was like, okay, well, I shouldn't be a teacher, so where do we go from here? Because, what other jobs do you know than what your parents do whenever you're younger? So I would just, would talk to people and find out what people's parents did, and I found a common theme of almost everyone was like, I don't really like my job, or I wouldn't do this, like, if I could go back and change it, I would. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is terrible. How am I supposed to choose something when I've never done it and everybody who has done it seems to hate it, you know? And flight attending was one of the only jobs where I heard the people say, I love my job. It's great. Like, I would totally do this again. And like, I like this decision, and I've always wanted to travel. So
Does money matter when you choose a career?
In this instance, no. I mean, if I wanted to be like a painter, I feel like that'd be a little different, because then it's like, okay, if you don't sell your painting, you know, what are you going to do? Like, I think with flight attending, hopefully I'll have enough flexibility that I could have like a part-time job on the side too, whenever I'm not traveling and stuff, or that I just make enough money, which I think they make like pretty decent money. I think I could survive.
So you want to be happy?
Yeah. It's much more about enjoying my job than the money.
If you could write the next 30 years of your life, which would take you to 52, where do you want to be at 52? What do you want to look back on this moment and say, I got that all done in that 30-year period? Because the next 30 years in your life are a very crucial 30-year period.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a boring answer, but I guess financial stability would be a good one, you know, just like have enough money where I can survive on my own. Right now I live with my parents, so they pay for a lot of like my insurance and my rent. I don't have to pay to live there or anything. So being able to pay for those things would be nice. I don't know, I have like small goals. Like I kind of want to live in an apartment at some point, which I think I could do whenever I move somewhere to be a flight attendant, hopefully. I want to get married. I know that's something you're afraid of.
No, that is not something I'm afraid of.
Okay.
It's just something I don't want to do.
Don't want it. He's against it. Doesn't want it. That's
just
fine.
not for it right now.
Those are some goals that I have. But I don't know. I don't think I have any like long-term goals where I would be like, I'm going to be crushed if in 30 years I can't look back and say that I was the #1 talk show radio host. You know, it's like, not that that's a bad thing, but it's like, I'm not going to dwell over it.
So you don't have any specific goals?
I don't think so.
Nothing you'd want, like if you knew tomorrow was your last day and you could do anything today, there's nothing you'd want to accomplish?
I'd want to go to Starbucks again, I think. Get a little drink and a compliment.
That's the big goal in life. No, nothing. I mean, I don't think you're driven by the job. I really don't. I think you just look back at the experiences the job gives you.
Okay,
and
traveling then would be the big goal.
There you go. Where do you want to go most?
Europe. Pretty basic answer, but I want to.
That's a broad spectrum.
I know.
Like
But there's just
where
so
in
many
Europe?
countries. I don't know how you're supposed to pick
You
one.
want to go to the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, I want to see the Eiffel Tower.
Big Ben?
The Parthenon. Got to see all of it. I think Greece, that'd be a cool one.
What about places of religious significance?
What about them?
Like the Vatican. Would you like to go to the Vatican?
Yeah.
Would you like to go to Jerusalem?
I'm not opposed to going anywhere.
No, I'm just saying, for a lot of people, that's very interesting to go to those places.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Some of my friends actually went to France during high school, and they said they toured a lot of old churches, and that was what they did. So, like, I assume it'd kind of be like, oh, I'd see one, and I'd be like, oh, that was cool. And you see another, and you're like, okay, that's good, we get it. And then just a lot of old churches.
You know, not that this, and you don't have to tell us anything about your feelings personally, but it is interesting now when you go into a lot of churches, and we have a lot of churches. Specifically here in Ohio, in Marion County, I believe we have over 70 churches at this point.
Wow.
But most people are older who go to churches. Why do you think that is?
I think younger people just tend to disagree with the church views, I guess, or maybe not even necessarily what like the church wants, but like what the pastors of the church are saying, because I think there's a difference between what, you know, God wants and what like his plan is than versus like what the people are saying on Sunday mornings. So I think that that's the biggest.
You think there's a little gap there?
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
Hey, we are chatting with Kerrington Nelson. We've got a whole nother half hour to go. The first half hour is blown right by. You can catch her every Friday night here on WGH Talk with Sean Kraft, Matt Morgan, and myself, Friday Night Live, 8:15 to 10 p.m. Download the TuneIn app absolutely free on any mobile device to listen, or go to the website, wwgh1071.com. And we're coming back in 30 minutes, and we are just a minute for the other 30 minutes, and we might do the Proust questionnaire, which we've done so many times on this program. So get ready for that. Back in just a moment. Scott Spears back with you here on Scott Spears Now. The guest is Kerrington Nelson, and the new slogan for the Friday night show is More Kerrington, Less Everybody Else. That is what we learned in the first half hour. Kerrington has been a lot of fun the last couple weeks on the show, and she is our new panelist on Friday night, and we're so glad to have her. Matt, Sean, and I enjoy that every Friday night, 8:15 to 10. Remember, download the free TuneIn app on any mobile device to listen, or go to the website. It streams live there, wwgh1071.com. And by the way, all the shows from the beginning of time are on the website. You can listen to anything, any morning, any time that's ever been on this station in the last 9.5 years. 9.5 years. My goodness gracious. All right, now, Kerrington, what we're going to do here is the Proust Questionnaire. Now, what the Proust Questionnaire, this was developed. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't even think about this. We've done this with a lot of guests.
Okay.
It's supposed to reveal something about you psychologically.
Wow.
They're just random questions. It was developed by I think it might have been a psychiatrist years ago, but talk show hosts have used this for years and years and years. It's just a series of questions. You just give me the first thing that pops in your mind, but it will reveal something about you psychologically.
Okay.
You ready?
Maybe. So it's like you say cow and I'm like milk.
Not like that. It's more of a question.
Oh, okay.
But it's not ink blots. It's not an ink blot test.
Sorry, you said psychology. I was like, oh, so we're getting very...
I do want to thank again the girl who gave me these cookies. That is so nice. I don't want to mention her name on the air, but... oh, there it is. Okay, these are... See, I gotta have a piece of paper for this. These are Jubilee Jumbles. These are prize-winning molasses cookies. These are no bakes. These are peanut butter, and these are chocolate chip. Your mouth is watering over there. I can see it. And you're not getting a one of them. But I do thank her for baking those. Homemade, God bless her heart. Thank her so much. Karen has never made anything homemade, but, you know, whatever.
The pie, the $200 pie.
I didn't get a piece of it.
Okay. If I'm here for a long time, I'm sure I'll bring in some baked goods. My mom bakes. I'll bring some of hers.
Mom, you, the neighbor, it doesn't really matter. As long as they come in, that's all we care about. Homemade stuff. All right, the Proust Questionnaire. Question number 1. What's your idea of perfect happiness?
Feeling happy inside. Like, there's no job, there's no people, nothing that could make you happy besides yourself. So just feeling content inside.
What's your greatest fear?
Maybe the Grinch.
We love the Grinch here at this station.
I hate the Grinch.
The Green Grinch?
Yeah, like the Jim Carrey version.
Oh, the movie.
The movie.
Not the Grinch itself.
I mean, I don't like to watch that either. Like the whole thing, Dr. Seuss as a whole creeps me out. I made a list.
What is it, rhyming?
I made a list of things I'm passionate about, and this is on there. Like
The Grinch?
The Grinch, Dr. Seuss specifically.
What about Cat in the Hat?
Oh my gosh, he's worse.
Green Eggs and Ham.
Oh, like the live action. That man's scary.
Well, those live action movies are bad, but have you seen the cartoons?
Yeah, I've seen it here and there, but like the Dr. Seuss as a whole, it creeps me out. So maybe the Grinch and heights. I'm also afraid of heights.
Afraid? Like how high?
Like Ferris wheels. I'm sweating.
Oh, that's interesting, but you still do it.
Yeah, I would do it.
Okay. What is the trait you most deplore in yourself?
Deplore? What does that mean?
Now, see, I thought you would know that. Child of a teacher.
I know.
Child of 2 teachers.
I know.
Oh,
I
mom
know.
and dad.
Mom and dad.
Oh, mom and dad.
They're embarrassed.
Oh, no. Deplore is dislike.
See, I knew it was either going to be like love or hate.
Yeah,
but
yeah. What's the trait in yourself you most dislike?
Physical or like characteristics?
Anything.
I don't really like my nose.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's Grinch-like?
Not Grinch-like. I don't think the Grinch has a nose.
The Grinch doesn't have a nose, does he?
I don't think
Who has
so.
a big nose? Somebody, Pinocchio. Like Pinocchio?
Gru from Despicable Me.
There you go. That's it. You don't like your nose.
Don't like my nose.
That's very interesting. What is the trait you most deplore in others?
Maybe a lack of a sense of humor, taking things too personally.
Have you had trouble with that, where people got angry at you when you said something to them that was bad?
Not really, because I'm pretty like aware of others' emotions and I try to stay on top of maintaining relationships. But whenever it does happen, I hate it. So.
Which living person do you most admire?
Maybe Michael Phelps.
The swimmer.
The swimmer.
Why Michael Phelps? Didn't he get in trouble?
I don't know. He won a lot of gold medals. Like,
Yeah,
good
but
for
didn't
him.
he get in trouble for a marijuana thing or something?
I
think he did.
Okay, sorry. I
I'll have to
can
Google
I
Michael
can pick
Phelps.
again. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with Michael Phelps.
Really? Why Mike? I'm just curious. Why Michael Phelps?
I used to want to like be really involved in swimming when I was younger, so I think that I used to say
there's
that.
a tie-in.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I watched him in the Olympics. I don't know. That was kind of an off the wall answer.
No, I like it. What is your? That's the point of these questions.
Okay.
You're not prepared.
That's true.
Yeah. What is your greatest extravagance?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you spend most of your money on?
Oh, probably either gas or shopping, like
What do you buy?
clothes.
Clothes.
Yes.
Your clothes horse.
Clothes and food. That's like the.
Where do you eat?
Where don't I eat?
You like anything?
I like a lot.
You must have one heck of a metabolism.
Yeah,
Knocking
I
it
guess.
back.
I hear about that sometimes.
What's your current state of mind?
Peaceful?
Peaceful. That's good.
Yeah.
What do you consider the most overrated virtue?
Is charity a virtue?
Could be. Could be. You're just not into people giving charity. You
I think it's
that's
good.
overrated.
I think people just do it a lot of times to like point out that they're giving. Like I think that is a misconstrued thing
so
where it's like it's not
name
authentic.
a road after me.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
yeah. It's like look how much money I donated and I have this bench.
I see. On what occasion do you lie? Besides this one. How many times have you lied? Boy, I wish we had you hooked up to a polygraph right now. Google Michael Phelps for me over there. See if he was busted for marijuana. But I just am curious.
When I lie, I don't know.
You lie. There's got to be times when you've lied in your
I'm
life.
sure I don't lie frequently. I don't make a habit of it. It makes me feel yucky.
No, but I mean, I think most people probably say, how do you look? You wouldn't tell somebody they looked bad.
Okay, yeah, that's a good example. I guess sometimes if, you know, you think your parents are going to be mad when you're younger, you're going to be like, oh, that was my brother, not me.
Yeah. I think you did this one. What do you most dislike about your appearance? Nose.
Oh, yes, the nose.
Nose, okay. Which living person do you most despise?
I don't really have...
On what occasion do you lie when you get asked this
hate.
question? This one, right? There's somebody who you despise. Now, I know a name ran through your mind when I said that.
No, I was actually talking about my friends with this talking about this with my friends the other day, that I think I can forgive people pretty easily. Like, if they did me wrong or anything, like, all it takes is a couple times of being nice, and I'm like, okay, like...
Really? You're a forgiver?
I'm pretty forgiving, I think. Yeah.
DUI, not marijuana. You got caught for a DUI.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, everyone has their flaws. His are just amplified.
I guess they are. When you win all those swimming medals.
Yeah, people are looking at you.
This would be for the female. What quality do you most like in a man?
A sense of humor.
Sense of humor. What words or phrases do you most overuse?
Probably I'm sorry.
Oh, you apologize a lot.
All the time.
Really? Do you
Yes.
think you offend people a lot?
No, I think I just like instinctually, like I'm gonna apologize for. One time I ran into the wall and I said I was sorry before I realized it
You're
was
polite.
the wall. Yeah.
You have a
I'm
great
polite.
politeness.
I'm polite.
Who or what is the greatest love of your life?
Oh wow.
Or what? Not who or what?
Maybe my friends. I feel like we were pretty like unbreakable bond. That sounds cheesy.
No, your friends are in your life a lot longer than most other people.
That's true.
When and where were you the happiest?
I don't know. Christmas morning is a pretty hard happiness feeling to beat, I would say.
Big Christmas girl.
Yeah. I mean, not.
But you don't
My
like the
mom
Grinch.
thinks I'm a little bit of a Grinch because I'm not like listening to Christmas music in October or anything. But I you know, that's a fun feeling whenever you go down the stairs and breakfast and everything. So my mom works extra hard to make it extravagant for us.
Which talent would you most like to have?
I wish I could sing or play instruments. I guess that's kind of hand in hand. I think that'd be cool.
What do you consider to be your greatest achievement? Besides being here today.
So true.
I know. What's number 2?
My fans saying more Kerrington, less everybody else.
Exactly. That was pretty good. We're all a little offended by that, but you know.
I graduated college with a 4.0, so I thought that was
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what would it be?
Maybe a giraffe.
Why a giraffe?
I get called, like, people, like, compare me to a giraffe, like, if I was, like, an animal. I think it's just because I'm tall and I have freckles, it's, like, spots, kind of. But, like, I don't know, they seem to live peaceful lives.
Where would you most like to live?
By the beach.
Any particular coast?
I've actually never been to the Pacific coast, so I can't say.
California.
Yeah.
What is your most treasured possession?
Probably pictures.
Now, do you print them out? Because you used to have to actually make pictures.
I have some printed out. Most of them are in my phone. I was talking to my friend about this the other day, how I'm out of storage on my phone and like I can't even take pictures because there's so many pictures on my phone that it's overloaded.
What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery?
Probably just like being sad and unhappy with like life, uncontent.
What is your favorite occupation? Is it
Flight attendant?
Flight attendant. You know, I about said stewardess because that's what they used to call them, stewardesses, but it's flight attendant now.
I don't know the technical term.
No, I think it is. I think it's right.
I say flight attendant.
Yeah. What is your most known characteristic?
Probably being bubbly.
Bubbly. Mm-hmm. Now, do you work at that, or do you wake up bubbly?
A little bit of both, I think. Like, it comes naturally. I can, talk and, like, be cheery and stuff when the occasion. But I think I have a pretty, like, optimistic outlook on things a lot.
Now, does the mask ever fall off and make a thud?
I mean, everybody, like, needs some, like, peace and quiet time. Everybody gets sad sometimes. But, like, overall, I would say I get that from, like, the first few interactions with people is how I'm, like, bubbly.
Who are your favorite writers?
You would have to read favorite writer.
No, Dr. Seuss.
Not Dr. Seuss.
So you know who
That's
you
my
don't
least
like.
favorite writer.
I understand. Well, so you don't do any reading.
I actually read, I think the first book that I've finished since maybe middle school, like on vacation 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a huge reader.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, a lot of people aren't nowadays.
Yeah.
Who's your hero who's not real? Fiction.
I don't have a good answer for this.
Like in a
one.
movie or a television show or something like that.
The only name coming to my mind is Amy Duncan from Good Luck Charlie, but like she's not a hero. She's a mom.
Well, there you go.
She's great.
Well, moms are heroes to people.
That's true. That was a compliment. I don't know. I don't have any huge TV.
Is there a historical person that you most identify with?
I don't think so.
Nobody in history who you say.
No,
I
I feel
understand
like
that.
everybody's got like two sides, where you're like, oh, they did this, like Michael Phelps, I was like, oh, great Olympic swimmer, and you're like DUI man. So it's like,
Well, because we covered the story. I mean, that's what I remember.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. If it had just been swimming, we'd have been okay. But I knew there was something else going on there with Michael Phelps.
Yeah, maybe Taylor Swift isn't acceptable.
Why not?
She's great.
Who are your heroes in real life?
My parents.
That's nice.
That's cheesy.
No, that works. What are your favorite names? Do you have a unique name? How did you get the name Kerrington?
Well, as I said earlier, my parents are teachers, so they've had some time meeting a lot of kids with a lot of names, and they were like, we can't have any names that's gonna remind us of a kid, because it's like, oh no, we don't want Jason who like to eat rocks, and so they wanted something different, and my mom was watching The Baby Story.
The boy who ate rocks. Okay. Go ahead.
My mom was watching The Baby Story, and she heard the name on there, and then that's how they decided on it.
So what are your favorite names?
I think I like semi-unique names like my own. It's hard to say because it's my own name. My best friend's name is Carlin, so I think she has a pretty name.
Well, that is a nice name for a girl, Carlin.
Carlin.
Carlyn. Lyn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is it that you most dislike?
Maybe conflict.
A lot of people have a problem with conflict.
Yeah.
What's your greatest regret?
I don't think I have one.
None?
No.
No regrets?
No.
Never wish you would have done something a little differently?
I mean, there's things here and there, but I don't have a greatest. There's nothing like major that I'm like, oh, change the course of everything.
Now, this is a dark question. It's the only dark question on here, but how would you like to die?
Oh, in my sleep.
Now, see, everybody says that, but let me tell you, dying in your sleep, I think, is overrated because...
Oh, you had died before. You don't know.
Well, here's what I'm saying. And I thought you didn't like conflict. And here it comes.
I know,
There it was, right there. My goodness. But no, I'm just saying that, that was funny. I'm just saying that here's the deal when you die in your sleep. I think people just think, oh, you went to sleep and you never wake up. But what happens is you go to sleep in the middle of the night, you wake up, and you go, oh, my chest kind of feels funny. And then, and then,
That's not the way I imagine it. I imagine you're out and you stay out. And that's how
I don't think that's what goes on.
That's
Because don't you think a pain that is enough to kill you would wake you up?
I don't know. Our bodies do a great job at comforting us in those times. So maybe your body knows you're in danger.
Have you died? Do you know?
I know. I'm just hypothetically.
Excuse me.
How do you know?
Conflict all over the place. Okay. And the final one on the Proust questionnaire, the final question, what is your motto?
More Kerrington, less everybody else.
That's a good motto. I always like, this too shall pass.
That's a good one.
I think it's true.
I think actually I like the saying life moves pretty fast.
It does. And in the blink of an eye, it can be over. You just read the obituaries every day and you realize those people yesterday were just fine. They thought everything was hunky-dory.
Well, some of them.
And today they're in the paper.
That's true.
Now, this is an interesting question. I was going to do this on the current event show, and we might do this again on Friday because I'd like to get some people's opinion on this. I don't have the girl's name, but I thought this was highly fascinating. And this will be what it's like on the Exchange Club, a more specific current event. But a New Jersey court has ruled, as of today, that a Catholic school had the right to fire an unmarried pregnant teacher. Now, the reason they had the right to do this is because, and this is a quote from them, she failed to abstain from premarital sex. So the Catholic school had the right to fire her. And the court just agreed with her. Or agreed with the Catholic school, that they did have the right to fire her. Do you think that should be a thing? That schools should have the right to mandate what people do in their private life is essentially what this leads into.
No. I mean, did they ask all the men if they've had premarital sex in the interview? Why is it just the woman? It's not...
Well, they might have.
Yeah, but
you think it's a gender thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's not pregnant men running around, so...
Well, here's a part to this story that I think is kind of fascinating. She was hired in 2014.
Okay.
Now, do you think that she has been abstinent since 2014?
I'm going to guess no.
Right. So what really happened here is she got pregnant.
Yes.
And that gave her away.
Yeah.
So, is it better to just hide those things and lie? I think maybe a Catholic school was not best for her to be working at.
That's what I was going to say. I think she should probably find a different job.
Yeah, but it's a morality thing for the Catholic school. That they don't want that as a role model for their students, I guess.
Yeah, which I guess I see that, but at the same time, it's like, what are they going to do when they graduate Catholic school and run into that in college or something and see people pregnant there? And I'm not saying that that's something to look up to or that's a great thing, but what are they hiding it from? Why can't they talk about it? Maybe she didn't want that, so she could talk about how she messed up and Jesus forgives. There's other lessons you could take than just getting rid of this person, I think.
Yeah, but don't you think that there was probably this just wasn't the best fit for her?
Yeah, I think she probably should not be working at the Catholic school because it sounds like an uncomfortable environment for her.
Well, and also, I mean, when you apply there, you probably know what the rules are.
Probably.
And you probably have to follow the rules. Now, why would she sue them? That's what I'm curious about. Because it had to go to the New Jersey Supreme Court, I believe.
It's probably serious for her. I mean, if you're relying on something for money, for your job consistently, I guess I could see her being pretty upset if it's taken away just because she's a woman that got pregnant.
You know what I find funny about this story is that a woman who is pregnant is fired in 2023. The school is sided with by the court. In this day and age, I mean that this is a thing, that this would be Because I don't think anybody would even think twice about that in general, unless maybe the parents complained. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how they would come up. I mean, yeah, it's, if that happened at Walmart, obviously, they're not gonna side with Walmart for firing somebody about that. But like, I don't know.
It's fascinating. We got into this big discussion on the statement or on station that's going to really culminate in a debate between Abby and Matt about titles. Now, you were kind of indifferent about the whole thing. I thought this was kind of an age thing because I still don't understand. Matt says, and I'm paraphrasing from Matt because he's not here, that he doesn't like it. He doesn't want to call older people by a title because that shows respect, and they haven't necessarily given him respect. I don't understand why a title shows respect. I don't know where that correlation is made.
I don't think I do either, but I see where he's coming from in saying that I think like the people who are asking to be called this title see it as a sign of respect because like they're entitled to it for some reason. I don't get it. I would never be like, call me Mrs. Nelson or something, but like I said, I had some family friends growing up that the parents were always Mr. and Mrs. because that was how like what they thought was acceptable, and I think they saw it as like I'm an authority figure and you're below me, so I can see it.
But if you didn't like them, let's say you Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I don't like Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Well, if I don't like them, I don't respect them, but I can still call them Mr. and Mrs. Jones because that's how I know them.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
Yeah, that's the. Oh, so because you don't like these people.
I don't dislike them, but like even if I didn't,
you wouldn't hang out with them.
Yeah, if I didn't like them, I probably wouldn't be there.
So, but the point is, I mean, why do you think? Did you ascertain why he equates titles with respect?
No, I feel like I've never gotten a lesson on that. It's some sort of like thing you just pick up on when you're younger, like at school you're calling the adults Mr. and Mrs. So I feel like that's why you get the idea that it's like, oh, like this person's above me, so I have to call them this.
It's interesting. There's a study on here, and we might do this one on Friday too, because this doesn't correlate to any specific current event. But this is a study because we all want to be happy. You talked about being happy and bubbly and wanting to apologize to people and so on and so forth. And a new study has just come out from a college that says, you can really do a lot of things in your life and things can happen to you, so on and so forth. But really, in the end, you're either born happy or you're not born happy. And I thought to myself when I was reading this, I thought, am I happy? Yes. Was I born that way? I don't remember.
Yeah, I disagree.
You don't think you're born happy?
No, I think that being happy is a choice. I mean,
really?
Not exclusively, like obviously there's external events, but I actually heard of a study one time that people who win the lottery and who become paraplegic, if you give them a year, they equate to about the same level of happiness, like in either circumstance.
People who become paraplegic?
Yeah, like unable to use their limbs, and the people who win the lottery, like in the end, it kind of evens out and it's just like about your perspective,
Really? So money doesn't bring happiness is what this tells us?
Yeah, I mean, apparently use of your limbs either doesn't bring happiness. It's something that you like decide and work at.
So it's all frame of reference?
I think so.
Really? So what is the worst thing that could happen to you?
My family all dies.
Okay, God forbid that your family all dies. How do you keep a positive outlook?
I probably wouldn't. Initially, I probably wouldn't be happy for quite some time, that's obviously a lot to deal with. I would probably want to move away somewhere and kind of start fresh would be the idea, but I think it'd take a long time to feel happy after that. So like I said, external events obviously impact how easy it is for you to be happy, but there's plenty of rich people who are miserable, so
well, that's true. Well, not to get on a dark turn here, but it is interesting because they say people's number one fear is public speaking, and their number two fear is death.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So these are the two big fears that people have in life. Now, clearly public speaking is not a big thing for you, but maybe it is. Like if you had to get up in front of a group of people at a podium and deliver a speech, would that be a thing?
I've done that before. I've had to do that for, I told you, I was a communication major, so
right.
For some of my classes I did that. Whenever I was in 4-H when I was younger, I actually did public speaking as one of my projects. So.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I think I was better at it. I don't remember being as nervous whenever I was younger. Like in college, I was a little more nervous, but it's probably just because it was my peers and I was going to have to see them. Yeah, peer pressure.
So what about death? Is death a fear?
Yeah.
Really?
For sure. I feel plagued with being alive because of death.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a 22-year-old age. You're fearful of death.
We talked about the obituaries. Anybody can die at any moment.
Well, that is true. Do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty aware of that. I get nervous about it.
What are you afraid of?
dying, not knowing, what happens. I'm a Christian, so like, obviously you believe in going to heaven, but like, it's still not something where I'm like, oh yay, like can't wait for death. This is all you know.
So fear would be, or death would be right up there in your fear column.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's interesting because, I just think death is death.
I mean, it's something we all have to come to terms with, and it's
we're all
just
going to get it.
Yeah, we're all going to get it, but it's just like whenever I think about it, I'm like, oh, we should stop thinking about this.
Well, you probably won't know when it comes.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, hopefully I'm asleep.
Well, that whole sleep thing, you don't bank on that one. That's going to be a little rough. But you believe, now this is interesting because I find this fascinating because we did a whole special a couple years ago called Destination Heaven. And we interviewed atheists, Christians, rabbis, people who have had near-death experiences, a lot of people, and people who had tried to commit suicide but didn't go through with it. And they all had a different idea of what heaven was. What's your idea?
I picture everything as kind of white and gold and it's glowing a little bit. And, God's there. And there's a lot of houses because there's a lot of people there also.
Do you see your loved ones?
Yes, but that's kind of a shaky topic because I always heard that like everyone is in their most ideal form in heaven. So, my grandma's probably not going to be limping around how she is now. So I think everybody is like the ideal age, I guess, whenever you peak.
Do you think that death is worse, your own death or the death of somebody you care about?
The death of somebody you care about. I mean, I've never died.
Through that.
Yes. I'm scared of that. Like thinking about my brothers, my parents, and my friends. The only death I've really had in my family is grandparents, which is terrible as it is. But thinking about other people who I'm even closer to going, like that's terrifying.
Yeah, but you get through it.
Everybody does somehow.
You know what's interesting? The perspective I always use on this thing is that let's say because my grandparents have all died. And when but I knew them all very well. They were older people, and I was older when they died. I was an adult.
Okay.
So when they died, I always thought they had to go through their grandparents dying, and they had to go through their parents dying. So now I have to go through it just like they did, and they were happy people.
Yeah.
So
that's a great perspective. I like that. I'm going to think about that, I think.
That's how I always thought about it. And I always think about now they know the secret. Mm-hmm. Because we can all think we know what happens when that moment happens, but now they know.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think about how it's like a one-time occurrence and, there's no going back or anything. I think it's just like the permanency of death that freaks me out. The unknown.
People don't even like to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very iffy subject, especially the older people get, the less they like to talk about it.
I believe it.
The closer your feet get to that line, the less they want to talk about that.
The older people get, the more religious they get, too. You know what I'm saying?
No atheist in foxholes.
That's for sure.
That's exactly right. Are you good at giving advice? Do your friends come to you and ask your opinion on things?
I think I give pretty good advice, but I love my blanket statement of, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. So any advice you receive from me is, I would do this or that, or I think this or that, but like, I don't know, you have to make your own choice, because I don't want to be blamed for someone else's choices.
You give yourself an out.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you like giving your opinion?
Yeah, on certain subjects, I guess I like to give my opinion. I mean, if somebody asks for it, I don't like to give it unprovoked.
Is there anything that in communication that you're afraid of?
I guess the number one fear would probably be public speaking is a little problem. It's kind of scary. Maybe political topics too, honestly.
Well, we'll get into those as time goes on. With under 2 minutes left to go, what is something we don't know about you? What is something nobody knows about you?
I really don't like playgrounds. Oh. Yeah, avidly against playgrounds.
Why?
They're not that fun. I feel like they're hot. There's mulch. Get mulch. Yes.
Mulch is a problem.
I always remember getting splinters at playgrounds and stuff. And I feel like there's not a lot to do there. You climb up the thing and slide down, and it's like woohoo.
Finish the sentence. Kerrington Nelson is
bubbly.
Bubbly. There you go. And you can catch Kerrington along with Sean Kraft, Matt Morgan, and myself every Friday night on Friday Night Live on WGH Talk. And it is live. You can call in 8:15 to 10 p.m. Download the TuneIn app on any mobile device absolutely free, or go to the webpage, www.wgh1071.com, and you can stream the show live. Kerrington, it is a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you on the station. It's a pleasure to have you involved in the programming. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I love being here.
For Kerrington Nelson, this is Scott Spears for this episode, Heading for the Dugout.